Hunter, how are you, friend?
Oh, hello, Cody. How are you today?
Oh my gosh, where'd that one come from?
Well, springtime. We're close to. We're on the back end of St. Patrick's Day.
I know, man. This year has seemed to just fly by. It's ridiculous. We're already we're going on a third of the year being over.
It's crazy, isn't it? And especially for us, because we've got everything we're doing wedding planning wise has a countdown on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a day-to-day countdown of how much time we have till nearly the end of October, and it's less than 200 days now. So
yeah, I feel like it's life right now is like that meme where it has the guy, his eyes are open, and then it's like January 1st, 2021, and then he blinks, it opens back up, and then it says it's April.
yeah,
It's flying by, man. It's ridiculous. It's definitely going much quicker than last year. Let's say that right off the top. Oh man. Well, I want to ask you. We hadn't talked about it really in a couple of days. How's the leg doing?
Leg is doing really good, actually. Its swelling's been going down. I got a lot more movement in my toes and my foot, and it's not as hard to stretch my muscles. It doesn't really hurt to move anything, which is great. There's still some bruising, like you can see deep down through the skin. You can see some bruising that's that's from where all the major damage happened. But that means everything else has returned to a normal color, and you can just see the really bad stuff. And I mean, I imagine it's going to take a while before it looks normal again. But
sure,
I'm putting vitamin E ointment on my scars, hoping that they'll not look super gnarly. But other than that, yeah, we're just keeping on. Next week I go get x-rayed, and we'll know then what my next few weeks are going to look like, if I can start PT, if I have to wait a little bit longer. So we're going back to the doctor, and he's going to take a look at my bones and see what they're looking like.
Good deal. Are your bruises, they turn in that gross color yet?
No, they're just that really, really deep purple.
Okay, well, usually they start out blue, so that's good. They're healing.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because they look really, really gross when they get green and stuff, but that's when they're almost healed. So that's good. You're moving along. Are you said the stretchers getting easier? Are you able to go farther and stuff now on them?
Oh yeah, my movement is pretty insane. I'm curious to see what the doctor says. Bree and my mom have both seen it, and they're really impressed with how much it's moving. And so I'm curious if the doctor is going to be like, whoa, or if he's going to be like, well, that's kind of what I expected. But I'm really curious for his feedback to see how good I'm doing.
Well, that's good, man. I tell you, those stretches, when you first start out, I know they suck, but it makes PT, I said it before, makes it so much easier when you get going, so you don't have to start there at square one when she's having you do those little bends and things like that, or whoever you go to.
Sweet. But yeah, that's where we're at. Not much has changed, but good amounts of improvement, which, is really all I can ask for. Haven't fallen, I've been
no more falls into the Mustang.
Yeah, right. No more falls. So we're just keeping on. I'll tell you what though, I'm ready to walk again.
I bet. Yeah, we had a buddy of ours from school. He's listened to the podcast, and then I don't know if it's on the Twitter. He just texted us or something, but he sent a picture that there was a lot for sale on, I don't know, one of those auction websites of some of the old Walmart Jazzy scooters there. So,
oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, it's Connor. I saw that and I just chuckled. It would have been real funny if you had gotten one, but I understand. I understand the need for the knee scooter.
Right. The guys at work have been giving me a hard time about my knee scooter because they all wanted to upgrade it, and I was like, whatever you want to do, we can do. But then, nothing ever happened, and now they're like, well, it's too late. I'm like, what? I don't know what to tell you, guys. I was down, I was willing to do some upgrades, but, time just has passed,
Listen, there's nothing better than getting paid to do stuff like that and not do your job.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wait, did I tell you that I did get an upgrade from one of the guys? He was one of the guys out on the floor. Now, when I talk about the upgrades that the other engineers at work, we're talking about pneumatic tires and like power drive and things like that. One of the guys out on the floor bought me an electronic horn that is mounted on my handlebar. Here, I'll play it for you because it's really, really funny. So there's 4 options. I can't believe I didn't tell you about this.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it.
There's 4 options. There's a horn. Then I have for when I have to go to the bathroom really bad. And then they know I'm a car guy, so this helps me feel not useless because I really miss driving my car.
Oh.
And then I'm not really sure the significance of this one, but Gray loves it.
It sounds like a laser gun.
It is. It's just a laser sound. So I'm not really sure what that's got to do with with the horn. But anyway, so I've got this nifty little thing.
I think you should put that in your Mustang whenever you get back to driving.
Just put it right on the wheel.
Yeah, man. Whenever somebody cuts you off or something, shoot lasers at them.
That's right. Make me feel better.
Or whenever someone's in the lane in front of you, they need to get over. Just play the siren one.
That would be awesome. I would be super.
Pretty sure that's illegal, but
no, not if they can't hear it. I mean, if it's just me inside, just for my entertainment.
We're amplifying this thing.
Oh, I see. I'm following now.
Yeah, that might be illegal, but it's not my car, so I don't care.
So you don't care, do you?
No, I hope you do it, man. All you want. We'll get this thing going. Well, I understand we have a minor update on the Straw-Anon, Candy. You wanna?
Yes, there is a minor update. So now that I've determined everything within my local vicinity of the strawberry candies, including Amazon, I've decided that I need to broaden the search. And so I got in touch with my friend and a dear listener of the podcast in Michigan to see if she would mind to let me pay her for some of the brand that she gets up there at the Meijer store. And she said, yeah, that will work. She'd get them to me. But in her searches for the candies, she has herself fallen down the rabbit hole and has sent me pictures of 2 bags that are totally, totally different. And she's like, it's real. It's real. I found 2 bags that are not identical. The candies look the same, but the bags are different. And I'm like, yep, it's real. It's deep. It goes real deep. So I'm curious to see how things progress there once she sends me a sampler of what's available there in Michigan. So, but yeah, I've got her full on invested in,
Oh. Well,
he likes to complain.
Sounds like he's really invested in the strawberry candy.
He is too. He's really upset I won't give him one.
That sounds way more accurate.
So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Once I get those in my possession, we'll see what the Meijer ones taste like, and then I don't know where she got the other ones, but we'll just go from there, and we'll get this thing sorted.
Man, it's crazy how big this whole candy thing goes. We may be the first podcast ever to really expose the strawberry candy world.
I think this might be our claim to fame.
Wouldn't that be something? We run this podcast just organically grow the way it's supposed to. And what really catches on later on when people go back and listen to the old episodes is the strawberry candy conspiracy that's going on. It's ridiculous. Man, he's vocal tonight.
Yeah, the funny part is I jinx it. Every time he's really vocal, I say he is, and then he's not in the room, but I didn't say it tonight, and now all of a sudden he's just talking a bunch. So,
well, the good part is we love dogs, so I'm not even going to edit him out at all. So we'll just have the peanut gallery over there just.
It's kind of funny when he does it, to be honest.
Dude, his breed, they're one of my favorites to hear talk. Like Luno is very vocal. Like he makes noises and little squeaks and squeals all the time, but man, huskies, whenever they make noises, it's like it's so dramatic in every single thing that they do. It's they don't have any like low level. It's 100%
Right.
every single sound they make. What a knucklehead. I miss that guy.
He's big now. You have to come see him. I mean, you got to come visit anyway. But
yeah, man, if we ever get on here doing videos or anything, we'll have to have a dog exclusive episode. We'll save that for the Patreon.
That'll work.
All right. Well, going back to, previously, a couple episodes back, or last episode, we talked about Frescas and my absolute love for them. I actually have one sitting here next to me right now, and there's about 9 cans of it in my trash here. So I'm still 100% in it, but I understand you also acquired the Fresca. How's that going for you?
So we went to Food Lion, and they had both the cans in the 12-pack and the 6-pack plastic bottles. And so we got a 6-pack just to test it out, see what we thought. They're all gone.
I knew it.
We both were like, wow. Like, number one, it's not what I expected at all. I expected it to be more bitter, like the other, like bubbly water or LaCroix or things like that. I wasn't expecting.
You, man. Those are gross.
They're so gross. So this is really interesting to me because remember how I said I had that agrumes soda in France, and that Squirt was a little bit
too sweet,
a little bit sweeter. So the Fresca reminds me a lot of that soda. I mean, obviously it's got an extra little citrus in it. It wasn't like a grapefruit citrus soda, which is what the Fresca is, but the one in France was just grapefruit. So it's a little different, but it does remind me of it. And I think it comes from the citrus element because it tastes like citrus peel. Like, you know how you make like a key lime pie or a lemon pie and you have to zest the lemon and get the peel. And I get a little bit of that in there. And so it's a little bit more bitter than the soda from France, but I do really like it. We both found it incredibly refreshing, not too sweet, which is a big deal when it comes to soda because most of it's just super, super sweet. And we both really liked it. So thanks for ruining our lives.
Yeah, man. These are the great thing I like about these is it's a soda water, and generally those are gross. I've said that so many times, but these are so good, and they only have 1 carb per can.
What?
So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dude, look at the nutrition stuff whenever you get a chance. There's 1 carb per can of these. So you can really drink these, especially if you're trying to watch your sugar or whatever, you can drink these and they won't have all that, 1.5 cups of sugar per can of it. And they're just so good. Like it's like you said, it's refreshing. You can drink these when you're hot. You can drink these when it's just normal. And you're welcome for getting you hooked on these, man. It was crazy because when everything, there was a shortage everywhere they can't stop making so many different sodas last year. And this was one of those that actually I couldn't find it forever. Like when I would find them, I'd literally buy every 12-pack or 6-pack of them that I could get my hands on. But I'm shocked that these went because they're so good. And now that they're slowly coming back, I guess everybody else who was like us, they were buying them when they'd find them too. But they're so good and they're not terrible for you. It's like it's the perfect balance. Not too sweet, not full of sugar, but just sweet enough to where you don't grimace whenever you take a sip of it.
Yeah, I really, really like them. So we'll have to get some more. I just hope that they don't go out of stock again because that's gonna make me really want them if they go out of stock. Just like what happened with our dearest San Antonio Taco Company. Every time I drive by that place, I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, branching off, just hitting on Satco. Satco there, San Antonio Taco Company. I guess it was technically a chain because this was the second store, and they also opened one in Chattanooga. I was talking to the owner of this one, but it was my favorite restaurant to go to. It was right next to campus. Dude, their nachos were killer. Their tacos were okay, which is kind of funny with it being a taco company, but their their food was just so good and it was so cheap.
Yeah, it was affordable. That was the kicker.
That was the
Oh
kicker,
man.
man. And they were pretty quick too. Like you could literally, between if you had an hour for class from where we were at in the spot where we were, you could drive down, eat, and then make it back in like an hour. So it wasn't you
Yeah.
didn't have to like wait, and you could get it to go and whatnot. But yeah, it literally closed down. I remember when I found out they were closing, I was on Facebook and I saw that they said on their Facebook page that they were shutting down, and I messaged them. I was like, "When are y'all closing?" I was like, this where I'm home for the holiday, so I'd like to come get it one more time. And they're like, "Oh, today." It's like, what? So
Oh.
I don't know if something happened. It seemed a little fishy
Yeah,
how fast it happened, but
it did happen really, really fast. And I don't really know the whole story, and I wish I did. And more importantly, I wish they were back. But
mhm.
yeah, I really miss that place. And they left the building as is, and the sign is still up. So I
Yeah.
drive by there and I see the sign, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds good." And then you remember it's closed. So it's like this awful reminder of better times.
Yeah.
So,
It's like that last scene in the Fast and Furious movie when Paul Walker splits off from Vin Diesel. Oh,
we
it's
miss you,
sad, man.
Satco.
It was so good. Yeah,
We went over
Satko.
there. How many times did we go have lunch there? We had lunch there all the time.
Oh my gosh, way too much. Let's just put it that way.
Well, no, not way too much.
Well, for my pant size, way too much. Okay,
It's good stuff.
yeah, I'll say it was good. I don't want to say that it was healthier than if you went to just like normal fast food, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not something you should have went to as many times as we did. And it stings because man, they had like trivia night we went to a few times, and
All the time. It was so
um,
fun.
it was so fun. And we'd get the guys and we'd all go down there and just pig out and do trivia. And shoot, we won it 2 or 3 times. We were pretty good at it, but
Yeah.
yeah, we
And
miss you,
that's how they
Setco.
got you. Remember, they gave gift cards out.
Yep,
Like if you
yep.
won, you got gift cards, and so we divvy the gift cards up and come back the next week and eat for free.
That's exactly what we do. We'd save them, and then I'd keep it in my wallet, and then whenever we come and eat the next Friday night or Thursday, whatever it was, when trivia night was, everybody'd eat for free. So
Yeah.
it was perfect, man. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, other Satcos, if you decide you want to sponsor the digital sphere, we're open to
Yeah.
sponsors. So
Also, if you're interested in opening a franchise back up here, you know where it is. You know which one closed.
you know,
If you want to open a franchise back near us, we would definitely welcome it, because I know I haven't talked to one person who I've been like, "Hey, do you miss Satco?" And they've said no. Everybody has said, "Oh my gosh, I miss it. I wish it was back." So
yeah, it's a shame. I love that place. It was just, gosh, it was so good. But what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do?
pour
Back
one
to the
out for
Fresca
Satco.
though. Yeah,
Pour a
I'm not pouring.
Fresca. Pour a
I'm not. I'm
Fresca.
no, no. We don't pour Fresca out.
Back to Fresca.
I cleaned one off the table the other day. Caroline, she had one, and I went and I picked up the can, and it was half full, and it was from the night before. And I walked over to her and I said, "What's this? We don't do this here. We don't waste these things. They're 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 rare right now." But yeah, if you I calculated it up, and the cans are cheaper per ounce. So if you have the option for
Wow.
the bottles or the cans, go for the cans.
Yeah, I
Cheaper
think that's
per
what we
ounce.
said. We were going to go ahead and get a 12-pack of cans the next time.
And these are they're good coming out of the fridge, like really, really good. But I don't even put my cans in the fridge anymore. I just sit them next to it, and just we keep it pretty cool here downstairs where we live, and they are perfect coming just out of the pack. You don't even have to refrigerate them. So
Mm.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm impressed. Fresca has impressed me thoroughly.
Well, you're welcome for giving you something that is hard to come by, and I hope you enjoy the hunt because I tell you, you'll go to the store one time. So you go to Food Line. You'll go to Food Line and you'll get the 6-pack. And then the next time you go, they'll have a couple 12-packs. And then the next time you go to get one of those, they won't be there. But up on the top shelf, they'll have like a 2-liter bottle. It doesn't make any sense. I think they just use whatever extra they have that week. But
They just play roulette.
they do, man. I've literally had all three of them. I've had the 2 liters. I've had the bottles, the cans. It's just depending on where you go and when you go. Who knows what you'll get. But yeah, man, they're delicious, and they are my favorite drink in the entire world right now.
Heck yeah.
Undoubtedly. But well, Hunter, I have a couple stories that I want to get your reaction on, and just letting everybody know. I told Hunter about this a couple days ago, and these stories, but I didn't tell him what they were about because I wanted to get his honest reaction.
That's what's going to be so good. Like when we let in about the cinnamon toast shrimp, I knew everything. And this is going to be like candid. This is going to be just pure reaction.
Yeah, so I was at work, and I had a notification come up just from Google telling me the news stories for the day, and I saw this one. I saved it and opened it at lunch, and I read it, the first one. So we got a funny one and kind of just a shocking one. The funny one, I read it at lunch whenever I was eating tacos, of course. And then I looked up on the TV whenever I finished reading it. And on the TV, there was another story that just shocked me. So I also found the news article for that. But we're going to go over the funny one here first. And I really want to hear what you think about this. Just paint yourself, Hunter. You're a big Transformers fan, right?
Right.
Okay. So imagine that you're a big Transformers fan, and you're up near the facility or wherever they design, they write the stories, they do all that. Okay.
Okay.
You just hang out at the building every day because you just love it so much. It's your dream to be in there. Then one day you see in the back of the building, one of the doors is left open.
Oh, no.
So you just mosey on in, and nobody stops you. Nobody catches you. You go over and you make your way to the cafeteria. You have lunch with the people. They invite you to come out and join them that night for trivia. Nobody even notices anything. And then you go and you just find an empty table, and you just start writing script for a Transformers episode. Think about that for just a second.
Okay.
Your dream is coming true.
I
saw this article, and this is a real story that happened. So this is from the USC, University of Southern California football team. And I'm just going to read just a little bit of this article. Let me go down to the person who wrote it so they can get the credit they deserve. Written by Joe Kinsey from Outkick. And here's the start of it. The USC football player imposter story has taken a twist, according to the Trojans insider Scott Wolf, who has further reporting about the guy who was busted fielding punts during a practice last week. It turns out there's more to the story than the guy just getting past security and into the practice facility, where he was able to get his hands on a uniform and make it onto the practice field. Wolf reports that the imposter was so good at his craft that he even went as far as jumping into a hot tub with Trojan players and even grabbed a meal without being busted. Wolf was also told that the imposter had used the suite in the Coliseum to grab some sleep and has been busted by security before for hanging out at the school soccer field. I'm not sure how he got into the McKay Center, I guess that's their practice facility, so easily, a security officer told Wolf last week. That's the question and problem for me. He shouldn't even be on campus with the COVID-19 restrictions. We'd had a previous issue with him before at the soccer field. Is that not... Oh, here's the timeline. Guy gets past security into the football operations building, the John McKay Center. Mixes in so well that nobody realizes he's an imposter as he makes it all the way into a jacuzzi. Sits in the jacuzzi with other players and they don't get suspicious. Like, this is a college football team that these guys are together almost every waking hour. Oh, it gets better. Grabs a meal, nobody realizes something is off. Grabs a jersey and a helmet. So some equipment people gave this guy equipment. He got dressed for practice and went out onto the field. Nobody noticed. And starts fielding punts as a football staffer finally realizes this guy's out living his dream. This guy, it's not like he was at some small college that just gets whoever is available. These are 4- and 5-star players. These are the best football players in the country in a major conference. So these are high-profile guys. Many of these guys are going to end up in the NFL. And this random stranger literally had a Make-A-Wish day and spent the entire day with the USC football team.
I love how the security guard is like, we don't know how he got in. Dude, that's your job. You're supposed to know. And you're supposed to keep people like that out. It seems like he's pivoting. The security guard's like, yeah, we've had issues with this person before.
Yeah.
That's worse. You should know.
Like, this is the money maker, non-donor money maker for the college, the football program. And this random stranger walks in. It doesn't give his age or anything like that, but it's a dude that's known on campus. Like, every security officer near an athletic facility on that campus should know what's going on. But not only did he go in, he went up to the very top. So he had to walk up the bleachers. He had to take an elevator to get up to the suite of the Coliseum. And he slept in there, Hunter. He took a nap. How does this happen?
I need to know.
All day.
I need to know at what point he thought he was going to get to. Like, he was like, I think I'll get in the building. And then when that happened, I want to know at what point he was like, oh, I've gotten further than I thought I would. So I'm just going to keep pushing the envelope and see what happens. I got to imagine that he didn't plan to get in the hot tub. I just have to imagine that. But he saw the hot tub. He's like, well, nobody said anything. I'm going to hop in with these guys, see how far I can push my luck.
And they're not like, who are you, man? Who's this guy that's over here? We've never seen him before. And was he just carrying trunks with him to get in the hot tub? Like, how do you just hop in? Did he just take his shirt off and get in his jeans? Like, there's all
They're
day.
all in the buff.
Gosh, God, that'd be weird. But people on the team, people that are paid by the University of Southern California, gave this man equipment. They gave him gear to go outside onto the football field. And this guy runs out, tags out the starting punt returner, and he starts fielding punts.
You know, I heard a story of a guy. He made a habit out of like, he would collect drinkware from restaurants. He'd pick up the glasses or whatever, and he'd take them with him. And the story was that somebody asked him, why do you do this? And how do you do this? He said, well, I just like to collect the glassware. But how I do it is I usually go with a group of people. And when I am ready to leave, I pretend that I absentmindedly still have my drink in my hand, like I've forgotten to set it down. And if you're confident enough and you act like you're not paying enough attention, like if you're just chatting it up with your buddies as you all walk out, he said 9 times out of 10, they don't say anything to you. So this guy must have just had and it's totally misplaced, but just the most confidence he could have to strut around that place and, number one, have not the energy of somebody like, oh, hey, I'm not supposed to be here. Because we all know what that's like when you're like, oh, I'm not really supposed to be here.
Yep.
So he had the confidence to not come off as, I'm not supposed to be here. But also just to like push it that far, you've got to be, he's either a sociopath or a genius. There's no way he was that confident.
And Hunter, it's not like he, we already talked about the equipment, guys, and okay, I'll cut him some slack. So this guy, they see everybody and they're just trying to get the equipment out to him so they can get out to practice. There's rules on how much practice players can have in a week. Okay. Right. This guy also went and had a meal with these players. So he got in line with this team. And, I don't know if everybody that listens, if you're a college football fan, but major programs go for the most athletic, the strongest, like the top of the top athletes. They want those guys on their teams, okay? I can't imagine that this random guy that went in and pulled this off, I can't imagine that he just blended in perfectly with this team of 6 foot plus, 6'2", 6'3", 6'5", 6'7" players and just, shuffled in and nobody noticed. I would imagine that he would stand out like a sore thumb because these are guys that, one, they train all the time. They're getting big. These guys are cut. These guys are jacked. The linemen, big guys. So he walked in and people were giving him food and nobody's like, wait a minute.
Who are you?
who are you? It just blows my mind that at a major program, this could happen. And, like, nobody during the entire day noticed, and the only reason he got caught was because one staffer was paying attention and noticed that the guy who's supposed to be fielding punts wasn't out there. That's the reason he got caught. That's it. Just because the wrong guy was out there. I mean, this guy, like I said, he went up and he took a nap in the suite. Like, it's just blowing my mind. There's cameras and everything around, and nobody saw this one random guy up in this suite with all the lights turned off. Notice him taking a nap. Like, how does this happen? But I read that. And the more I read it, the better it got. Now you see the preface that I gave you there. Have you living your dream? This guy was having a Make-A-Wish day there with the USC football team. Yeah, I mean, how are you as a parent? I mean, I know these kids are, we look at them like superstars. These guys are 18 to 24 years old, okay? How do you as a parent in a high-profile place like this just be like, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, not to take it to a dark place, but thank goodness he wasn't like unhinged, because think about being in that with that close a proximity and that much access to everything.
To kids.
He could have very easily slipped some poison into somebody's food, or, I mean, he could have done a multitude of things. And I mean, it's funny, right? Like, I'm glad he wasn't unhinged so we can laugh about the story. But I can't help but think that if somebody who was a little less sane was to try that, I think that this could have been a worse story. But regardless, that's got to be what the folks at USC are thinking, because they've got to totally redo their security now.
Yeah, and it's even worse. Like, it's bad that anybody can get in. Like, that shouldn't have happened. But it's not like this guy was just at home and he's like, you know what? I'm going to get in there today. This man had been caught by security around other facilities. Yep. He was a known person that wasn't supposed to be there. And it's not like everything's just open and hunky dory. There's COVID-19 restrictions. He's not even supposed to be on the campus. Nobody is. And yet, he made it into their practice facility. Like, what would have happened if he had grabbed, like, I don't know, a pair of scrubs or a uniform or something from like a trainer and went out there and was trying to, do some of the pre-work stretching or something like that? Man, he could have really hurt somebody,
That's
not knowing
true.
what he was doing.
You really
It,
could.
it's just absolutely crazy that this ever even happened. But man,
I
oh man,
wonder.
it's funny as all get out.
No, I wonder if everybody was in on it. Like they knew he was there and he wasn't supposed to be there, but they were just like, you know what? Let's make this guy's day.
No, I can promise you that at the University of Southern California, that was not the case. Nobody was like, he's all right. That's just. It's not like radio. It's not like he was the guy that hung out, then they invited him to be the manager. Like,
yeah,
that's not what happened here.
Let's get Twitchy Ben in here. Yeah, let's give him a day to remember.
Hey, Paul, let's let Twitchy Ben out here field some punts. Like, no,
we won't say anything. He needs a win.
hey, Ben, you want to hop in the tub with us here? Like, no, this isn't a radio story where he's the manager for 30 years. This should never have happened. And yet, this guy was just living the dream. He was out there fielding punts for the University of Southern California. He was a Trojan for a day, man. It's ridiculous.
He it's
what do you
things
even say?
like this. I mean, there's nothing really to say about this that hasn't already been said. That it shouldn't have happened, but it's really funny that it did. But I think it's really funny because we love when things like this happen. We love when these elite, prestigious universities get caught with their pants down. You know, it's kind of like why we all watch that college admissions scandal, which, by the way, there's a really awesome dramatization of it all on Netflix right now.
That's on my list.
I've watched it twice. It's really good. But we love it when all these prestigious institutions get caught doing an oopsie, because we have this preconceived notion that these places have it all figured out. They're swimming in money. They're swimming in talent. They have some of the best personnel on staff. And you just imagine that they've got it all together. But it's really funny to think that all these really, really talented people just couldn't see what was right under their nose the whole time. And so, man, that's good. Like if that had happened at a community college, I think everybody would be like, well, yeah.
It's community college.
But for it to happen with USC, that's pretty hilarious. And that guy's going to go down in history and it's a pretty cool nickname too, the USC Imposter.
I know. It's
wow.
And the thought that came to me when I read that is, right now, and we have been for several years, but we're in the age where anything like this that happens, it's getting written about, it's getting put on Twitter, it's getting put on the daily radio shows and internet streams and stuff that all these sports channels do now. To it gets sent out to anybody in the world who wants to read about it and has the interest in it. But you think back to a couple decades ago and before that, when there was no social media, internet wasn't the thing. How many things like this have happened in the past at other places and just nobody knew about it because the outreach wasn't there? We know about this because of Outkick and Clay Travis's network there. But what happens at the did this ever happen at the University of Georgia back in the 90s or early 2000s? Did this happen at Florida? Did this happen at Arizona? Things like that nobody will ever know about it because the universities could just hush hush and sweep it under the rug. But man, anything that happens now, you best believe that you're going to have to really do some damage control. Man, that's why
Oh, for
PR
sure.
people that's why they get their money, because like, can you imagine? I haven't kept after that day. I haven't read any more about it or anything like that. But can you imagine every single question in any kind of press conference or upcoming press conference is most definitely going to be about this story?
Oh, for sure. They're not going to get out from underneath this for a while. There's just no
No.
way.
Yeah, it's not going to be about your players who's showing flashes this year, not about your quarterback. It's going to be about the guy that came in and lived the dream as a Trojan for a day.
How the heck did you
And
guys let this guy in?
well, he just kind of found the door open in the back and came in, and
Do we have
I
any
don't even
questions about the upcoming season? No
know.
hands. No hands go up. Do we have any questions about the imposter? Every hand in the room shoots up.
Uh, I'm gonna have to read up on this some more and I'll try to find some videos if they take questions about it anywhere. But yeah, man, I read that story and was just blown away. Like, I had to wait to eat my tacos to finish reading it. It was that good. Just
Boy,
knowing
that's
that
funny.
this happened at such a high profile place. And like you said, man, we love it. We love when this stuff happens to places that it shouldn't. You know, with like you said, community colleges, yeah, it's whatever, but
Even like a Walmart. If you told me that a guy got caught putting on a blue vest and worked in Walmart for a week before anybody caught on, I would not be surprised.
no, I would, especially my Walmart here, it would not shock me one bit if
They'd
I
probably be
saw,
happy to have the help.
yeah, hey, can you open a register up? Yeah. Uh, yeah, man, it's ridiculous. I'm so glad it happened. I'm glad nobody was hurt. I'm glad
Right.
no damage occurred from this, other than, you know, $30 for a meal and tainted hot tub water. But
And a little bit
I'm
of pride, just a little bit.
and a little bit of pride of the university. But man, am I glad that it happened, that we could talk about it, because it's ridiculous.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, I love when this stuff comes over. There's so much garbage, and I know everybody, like, the thing right now is put out all the content that you can, put out everything, and hopefully it sticks. But I'm glad when we get some grade A S tier comments or stories like this, man. It's so good.
It's wonderful.
Well, you wanna hear about the other story that I found?
Heck yeah.
So this one, not as funny. Okay, actually pretty shocking. And this happened pretty, like, I'm not super close to where I live, but it's close enough to where it's right in my backyard and it's right in your backyard. So uh,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I mean, just within a day's drive, like not even a day, like a trip there and back. A day trip is where this happened at. So this is
Okay.
from, I went ahead and got it from Channel 10 News, WBR here. Okay, let me see if there's a if there's a writer for it. Nope, nothing in particular. So here is the title of this: Man allegedly tries to kidnap, then buy 3-year-old for $1,000 before being ran off and arrested.
Hang on, I gotta go get my shotgun.
And this happened.
No!
Yes.
I'm disappointed in you. Society.
Sorry, the author of this is Malik Jackson. Malik Jackson.
Okay, I'm buckled in. Let's just get into it.
Corbin, Kentucky. Okay, this is not very far from where I live. Okay, I've been through Corbin. It's not far at all from where I live at. Corbin, Kentucky. A parent's worst nightmare became true for one grandma when a Kentucky man grabbed her 3-year-old grandson and tries to take him. When that didn't work, officials said he offered $1,000 to buy him. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost him, said Christy Baker Franks, the boy's grandmother. Chrissy Baker is relieved but also terrified after her grandson was almost kidnapped as he was playing in the front yard. I was sitting here and he was playing in the trailer. They had like a little pull behind trailer that he was playing on. My car was here, she said. Out of nowhere, there was a man in a red car with 4 doors across the road. The man then approached their house. She said that he walked by the fence and tried to grab her grandson by the arm, walking him towards the taller part of the fence. She sprung into action to save her little boy. I jumped up and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" she said. He said, "I'll give you all $1,000 for the boy." That man, 74-year-old Ronnie Lou Hilton, is now charged with attempted kidnapping and promoting sex trafficking. Baker said it only took seconds before she may have never seen her grandson again. All this happened within 10 seconds, and if I wouldn't have been sitting here, he would have gotten my baby, Baker said. And although the boy is safe, she said he's shaken to the core. Um, Go ahead, Hunter. What is your take on that?
$1,000 is all it takes to get a kid these days.
This man
He
walked.
lowballed her.
Hunter.
I'm so sorry. I deal with everything in life with humor. So let's please not take that out of context. That is horrifying
Yeah.
and potentially heartbreaking. But come on, dude. If your kidnapping attempt fails, you gotta offer him more than $1,000. I mean, even if you don't have it, I tell you what, give you $1 million for the kid. Okay, now she's thinking about it.
Like, you're really gonna try to pull a fast one when you're 74 years old?
Oh my word!
Like you're grabbing the boy over the fence and trying to walk him over to where you can get him to take him into your car. Like this when it came across the news, I was just blown away. One, so close to where I live. And you don't ever want to think, I mean, Corbin's, it's not huge by any means, but you don't ever want to think that things like this happen in small towns. You don't want to think that this is going to happen in the place where everybody knows everybody, and if you need anything, you can call anybody and they'll be there in a minute. You want to think that this stuff is what happens in the big cities. This is what happens in high crime places. But man, this is a small place, and this man tried to just take this kid and then buy him like he was a dog.
Do we know if he was and I don't mean this insensitively, but do we know if the old guy was of sound mind?
It does not say anything about that.
It just seems a little tone deaf, to think that, I mean, after you attempt to steal a child who at 3, I mean, the longest running job I've had to date is I did 7 years of swim lessons. So I've worked with families of all different backgrounds and kids of all different ages from the greater Nashville area. And 3-year-olds are very, very small. And I think that it's hard for us to think about just how vulnerable a 3-year-old is, but that's still pretty much, I mean, a baby. Like 3 is still barely talking, right? I mean, am I off beat here? But that's just crazy that he would try to take. I mean, a kid that little, obviously, you're not going to let a 3-year-old outside to play unsupervised. So thank goodness that the grandma was watching him. But for him to think that he could just get away with it and just pick up this kid and walk off with him, and then to offer money, oh yeah, I'm just going to sell you my baby, basically. It's just nuts. I mean, I know some people would hear 3 years old, and I mean, that's 3 years being alive on a planet, but when I think of a 3-year-old, especially with my experience with kids, I still rank them as pretty darn young.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, this is a baby. I mean, obviously he's outside playing, but this is a child that in no way, shape, or form could defend himself. Okay. No. Probably whatever this man when he took him whatever he told this kid to do, he was going to do. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is a completely defenseless child. And they charged this man with, what did I say? It was attempted kidnapping
Yeah.
and obviously, obviously something like this with him trying to buy the kid. You you got to go right towards, especially when they charged him with promoting sex trafficking. You got to
Right.
think that
I
that is.
wonder. I wonder if he admitted that that's what he was going to do, because it seems like something weird. Like, you can assume naturally, slippery slope argument, that that's where it's going to go, but I mean, unless he admitted, yeah, that's what I wanted to do, I don't know if a charge like that would stick, especially if he had a defense attorney.
I don't know, but I mean, this is an old man, so I'm going to say that generally when people are that old in a place like Corbin, I'm going to say he's probably been there for a long time. So
Yeah.
she might not have known him because it is, not huge by any means, but it is bigger. So she might not have known him, but man, that just scares you to death to think that somebody that somebody that you've associated with, someone that you talk to at the co-op or at a restaurant or anything could do something like this.
Right.
And I mean, that's
Well, that's
that's just so
always
scary.
it's always how those news stories go, with the people who do atrocious things, whether it's sex trafficking or the guy who had all those girls in his basement, or
Hmm.
anybody who does any violent crime. All their neighbors are like, he just seemed normal. We saw him coming and going. We had normal conversations. We had no idea to expect that he would do something like this. And that's the scariest thing, is most of the time those people are just right under our noses. And like, I'm a little bit more spatially aware. Like, one of my cousins, they live in Texas, but one of my cousins came into town, and her and my sister wanted us all three to go walk around the strip in downtown Nashville. And I don't like going to downtown Nashville for many reasons. As we know, there was a bombing down there,
Yep.
right there near the holidays, and I just don't like it because there's a lot that can go wrong down there. And so my head was constantly on a swivel. I couldn't even really enjoy myself because I was just constantly on a swivel, looking at my sister, who at the time was underage, and my cousin, who was an adult with a family. But still, I'm like, anything could go wrong at any moment. And so
Hmm.
I hate that that's the way we have to be in society. But I just couldn't relax. Like, it's because I have this gut feeling that there, especially when you're in big crowds, and that's what you get, that feeling when you're in big cities. But you shouldn't you shouldn't have to experience that in a small town. But it's just everywhere, and it's so sad. But boy, am
Yep.
I glad that he didn't run off with that kid, because that would have been tragic.
And you know, this is horrible. And like you said, this would be tragic if he had taken this kid. But and I'm saying this in all seriousness here, no joking. You need to always be aware of your surroundings, especially when you're out. But I mean, this just goes to show you, even when you're in your own yard,
Right.
you need to be aware of what's going on because, man, it's a shame that this happens like that. But that's why, when I was younger, my family and I took a trip we went to New York, and for the first little bit we were there. We got subway passes for the week, so we were taking that everywhere. And for the first little bit, I was I was just when we got on the subway, trying to be like the locals, and I just put my headphones in or something like that. And my dad pulled me to the side whenever we got off of it after the first or the second time, and he was like, when you're on there, you need to have those out and you need to be paying attention to what's going on. And of course, I was, yeah, okay, whatever, Dad. And then I listened to him, and just shortly after that, one of the next few times we rode it, this guy that had one arm on the subway stands up as it was going, and he goes, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do." And immediately, my dad hands my mom his cup of coffee, and my girlfriend at the time was with us, and I was uh, I was preparing for if he was doing something what my dad and I were going to do there. This guy, fortunately, was just asking for money. It was right around Christmas. He had just lost his arm and stuff like that. But man, that it just goes to show you that something like that, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You got so be aware.
That's on the top 10 list of things you don't want to hear when you're in an enclosed space. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do.
Yeah, I was after that.
The second one, another one on that list is who farted. That one is you.
Yeah, man. After that, me and my dad, we were talking about it, and mom and everybody else with us was just like, "Oh man, that was scary what happened." And me and my dad at that point, we made a plan. It said if something like that happens again, I told him I'm going high. I said you go low, I'm going high, and if we're ever in a situation where we have to, we're just going to alleviate it because it's not everybody, and you need to before you make plans for any kind of situation like that should arise. And I think that anytime you go into a new space, you should always come up with an evacuation plan. And you should always come up with a plan for plausible scenarios. But I refuse. I decided, not long after that, I was not going to be a passive victim and I wasn't going to passively let stuff happen to those around me. So, that's one of those things. After that, anytime I've ever been on a bus, and not very often, but back on the subway, my phone's up. I'm sitting there alert, and you don't have to be sitting there like a watchdog, but just be aware of your surroundings. When you're out in public spaces, when you're at home in big areas, be aware of what's going on around you. Because I think the worst thing is when things happen and people are just so passive about it and they're unaware of what's happening until it's too late. So there's your serious PSA for the first one ever. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to these things. And this story goes to show you, literally in this lady's front yard with her sitting there watching her grandson, this man tried to take him. So and imagine if the phone had rang and she had walked inside to pick it up and come back out.
Right.
I mean, it's scary. So pay attention to your surroundings. Don't be a passive victim. That's what I want to get.
That's not to say I had the thought, like, I'm aware of my surroundings, but you can also enjoy yourself and be aware of your surroundings. Like
Absolutely.
when y'all go to Disney, I guarantee you'll have your head on a swivel, and I know I'll have my head on a swivel when we're at Disney for our honeymoon. But there's a difference in being aware of your surroundings and being paranoid. And that's where I think you can draw that line, is just being aware and protecting your own, and just being on the lookout for anything that might seem a little strange. I know people who are like, I can't sit in a restaurant I can't sit with my back to the door. I have to sit facing the door. And I'm like, that's a little much. But I think you can do a good job of being aware of your surroundings.
Sure. You just got to be able to just observe. Like I said, you don't have to be a watchdog. You don't have to not enjoy yourself when you go out in public. Because if you're going to be like that, then what's the point of going out? But just pay attention to what's around you. If something doesn't seem right, keep an extra eye on it. If you hear something loud or something's abnormal, pay attention to it. But just pay attention, because this just goes to show you that it can happen at any time. I highly, highly doubt that this grandmother could have predicted that was going to happen that day.
Jeez. To her family, Mother's Day's coming up.
Yeah, man. It's scary, but it takes good guys to beat the bad guys, and that's why you got to pay attention, raise awareness for these things. And like I said, man, this is very, very close to where I live, so that just you got to be aware of what's going on around you.
Yeah, that's scary.
But yeah, man, that's what I got there. Probably should have started with that one and had the funny one last, but I guess give a little PSA to the people here as we're finishing up. But any more thoughts or comments on that, my friend?
No, boy, I'm just glad that kid's okay. I'm trying to think if I have. Here's another good story about and this will fill in. We just hit an hour, but I got another good story.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
And it reminds me of this with the little kids. So the swim program I worked for was not associated with any like YMCA or American Red Cross or anything like that. Like we were lifeguard certified, we had to be, but it was a home business that had been in operation for 30 plus years. The guy's mom had done it and then passed on her skill set to her sons. And then her sons went out and started their own branches. So I worked for one of her sons, and the program is very, very hardcore, but you get results.
Sure.
Now, when I say hardcore, like you're not going to sling a kid that is going to drown into a pool. You're just not going to do it.
Yeah, you're just not going to do push-ups all day.
Right. Do burpees and all that stuff.
Oh, dear God.
Do burpees until you puke, Timmy, who's 5.
You give me trauma right now.
But anyway, we didn't take nonsense. And that resulted in a lot of really, really successful swimmers and really great stories of kids who were able to save their life. And that's what the whole foundation of the program was if a kid, even a young kid, from the point that they could sit up on their own, we would take them. So babies, like you would teach babies if they fell in the water what to do, and
roll over on their back.
Right. And so if they were to have graduated our program, it was known that you could sling that child, you could huck them like a football into the water, and they'd roll right over and float. Yeah. And it was amazing. And we heard this story. There was a child who had graduated, and he had fulfilled all the requirements for the program and had been successful. We didn't have many who weren't successful, by the way, but he had fulfilled the program, been successful, and they went out to the beach, and the parents were watching him, and he was in the water. And as you know, riptides are very sudden, very strong, and very unpredictable.
Yeah.
A riptide sucked him out into sea as far out to the point where they couldn't see him. Just gone. And so they're panicking. They let the Coast Guard know. They let everybody know. And so they start a campaign searching for this child. 4 hours go by. Now, let's just take some time to appreciate how long 4 hours is, knowing your child has been sucked out to sea.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care how good of a swimmer you are. I swam competitively for 11 years. 4 hours is a long time to be out away from land.
Yeah.
4 hours after he disappeared, the Coast Guard found him floating on his back out in the middle of the ocean.
That's incredible.
And they scooped him up and they brought him back. Needless to say, we saw that kid and his family for as long as until I stopped working there. They were loyal customers after that point. But boy, is it good to know and to be prepared for stuff like that. And that's probably one of my favorite stories of like a success of a kid, because I had some children in my family. One child in my family who drowned at a very young age. I was too little to register what had happened, but it's kind of a sensitive area for me now, knowing and being able to have an opinion on it. So it's nice to know that you can prepare like that and save a life. Because if that kid had not known what to do, he'd have been lost
immediately. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been in a riptide, if anybody's ever been caught in one, but just to give you just a very, very small kind of taste of it, if you're out in water that's, about knee deep, when a big wave comes in and it sucks back, you can feel that hard rush of water that hits you in the legs, and, you're knee deep, so you can stand it, but imagine that, but it literally just takes you away.
Yeah.
And there's literally nothing you can do about it.
The only thing you can do is you never are supposed to swim directly back towards shore, because that's opposite the direction of the current. You swim diagonal to the beach. Yep. That's right. And that's your best chance of getting out of it. Now, I've never been stuck in a riptide. I've been to the beach many times. I've never wanted it to happen, but I've always been curious about how I would handle it if it did happen. I did get stung by a jellyfish when I was at the beach, and it was dead, but it still hurt like nobody's business. And boy,
who
that
got to pee on you?
See, I peed on myself because I thought it would work, and it didn't. And
It's got to be someone else, man.
the funny part is we were there with another family, and both my dad and the dad of that family were very embarrassed, but they both were like, if you want us to pee on you, we will. And I was like, no, thank you. I'll do it. But here's the kicker. I peed on myself and it didn't work. And then one of the locals said to pour apple cider vinegar on it.
Sucks out the poison.
Oh, it burned, but it worked.
Well, I'll just have you know, in the future, if your family and my family ever gets the pleasure of going on a trip together, if you ever get stung, I'm grabbing the nearest beverage that I can and I'm chugging it, and I call dibs to pee on you.
It's not going to work, but I tell you what, I'll let you do it.
Now that's a friend, folks.
That is a friend.
But no, let's just, first off, kudos to you for really, like I said, showing these kids what to do, because the kid was the one who did it, but what you taught him literally saved his life. I mean, that's without a shadow of a doubt. If you're not aware of those situations, if you've not, learned the skills, mastered the skills, and know what to do, where your body can just take over, when stuff like that happens, you get the fight, flight, or freeze reaction that occurs, and most people fight it, which just sucks them down further.
Right.
Your flight reaction is going to be to just wail on the water, and that doesn't do anything for you. Or freeze, and you just drown because your body won't move. But so kudos to you on that. But man, how about this little kid? I mean, I don't know how old they were. I'm assuming they were a small child there. I think you say it was 5, maybe something like that.
I don't really remember how old they were when it happened, to be honest with you.
Well, anyway, generally getting at it, small kids tend to not float very well.
Yeah.
Just naturally. They just, me, I'm a bigger guy, so I can hop in the water and I just bounce like you put a blow up volleyball in the water. But little kids like that, man, they tend to sink just because they don't have the mass to float, or the correct kind of mass to float like I do. But
right.
Man, how about that kid? 4 hours.
It's impressive.
Not panicking. I imagine he's probably scared to death with it all happening, but he knew what to do, and he didn't stop doing it. He did what he was taught, and man, that just goes to show you that stuff works. I was a lifeguard myself for several years, and I did swim lessons also everywhere I worked, and that was one of all the years that I did that job. My favorite part of it was swim lessons, because I would be able to start out the week with the kids. It was at a summer camp, but you start out a week with kids who are afraid to put their head underwater. They're afraid of water, and you work with them. You teach them the right way to do things, and man, by Friday they're jumping off the diving board. And that was my favorite part of being a lifeguard out of all the years that I did it. And I did several rescues. I had to jump in and pull people that got caught behind the jet streams and couldn't make it over, things like that. But you always feel good when you can save someone. But man, teaching someone how to be able to potentially save their own life, that was the best part of the job, undoubtedly. So great job all the way around. Great job, anonymous kid, for being able to do what you did there.
And if you're a parent, I don't assume we have a lot of parents listening to this, but I'm
maybe
just going to say it. If you're a parent, I think it's critical to teach your kid how to swim. The very basic life-saving techniques for sure. But even if you don't live near water, it can happen. People
go to the
have
lake,
backyard pools, the lake. Yeah. Like it's critical. It's something that's got to happen for your kid. And you know what? Swimming's good exercise. Sure. I did swimming for 11 years. It's low impact. I never broke a bone until I stopped swimming. It's low impact. It's good for your muscles. Swimming's good. So that's my campaign.
Yeah. Siblings, if you have younger ones, or even if you know adults in your family who can't swim, you never know, once people are older, sometimes it's harder to teach them, but if you can teach someone how to, be comfortable in the water, be able to show them how to not panic, and if nothing else, just be able to roll over on their back, control their breathing so they don't sink. Like, man, that's the kind of stuff that can save lives. So
keep that campaign going there. We're going to make swimming great again, folks, okay? That's what we're going to do. It's going to happen.
Saving lives one lesson at a time.
We're going to save lives, believe me. There's no one that knows water better than me. No one, that's all.
Drink it every day.
There's water in Diet Coke. There is, I promise.
Oh, the Donald.
Much more of that to come. I haven't been able to do the Donald on here yet. Boy, does that feel good to rip him out.
It's like a split personality that just got to break free for a second.
It's great. I love it. One more funny platitude, and then we're over time, so
sure,
that'll be it.
Nah, go ahead, man.
Some of my friends, again, we said we wouldn't get super political, but some of my friends were not Trump supporters. And so they were visiting, and I was doing the voice, and I came up with a really, really good idea. And maybe it could be something that we find a home for here on the podcast, potentially. But there are people who are upset about certain things he did. And they asked me, they said, hey, will you apologize for this, this, and this in Trump's voice? And so, like, almost like Santa Claus, he sat really close to me, and I was like, so-and-so, I want to tell you I'm sorry. The look of joy that just spread across his face was so worth it, and I don't want to say one way or another how I feel about the former administration, but all I can say is no matter who's in office, I make fun of them. It doesn't matter if I support them, if I like them, if I hate them, I always make fun of them. And it's whatever joy I can bring to somebody by doing the voice is in it for me. And so I think that is hilarious. It's almost like I should open an Etsy and just be like, tell me what you want Trump to apologize for, and I'll send you a voice recording.
No, dude, jump on Cameo. You could
yeah.
Now, it's like we said, if you go back, and I believe it was in the very first episode, we are equal opportunists when it comes to poking fun at people. Whether we like them, whether we don't, we make fun of everybody. And that's exactly. and that's, I think that's where true humor lies. When you're not segregating part of your potential audience, when you're not only doing things for one group or only talking good about one and bad about another, when you can equally make fun of everybody, it just brings us all together, because laughter, man, that's the one thing that we can all do.
Exactly.
Man, what a good episode we've had here. We had some PSAs, we had safety advice, we had funny stories, sad stories, great stories. What an episode.
It was a roller coaster. Believe me, it was a roller coaster, okay?
Loved it all.
There were some ups and there were some downs.
Some spinny loops.
Some loop-de-loops. Oh, I'm scared. Believe me. Ask Melania. I get scared. That's probably one of my favorite impressions. It's so fun to do.
That's a good one. Yeah, we'll have to take an episode in the future, and maybe that can be a kind of our bonus episode. We're looking to get. We can do an impressions one, because man, like I said, you're definitely in the top 2 of my, maybe top. I don't know. Duncan might have a problem with me saying that, but yeah, you guys were right there in impressions and the voices that you can do. So yeah, we'll have to do an episode where you can just do that for the entire one, and you can just really show off your skill set. This unique set of skills that you've acquired over a lifetime.
You know what we ought to do? We need to have him on as a guest. And I've got the game. It's actually called Utter Nonsense, which is hilarious because the podcast is sheer and utter nonsense. And it's like Cards Against Humanity, but you draw a card to say, and then the black card, if you will, is an accent. And you have to go around the room, and whoever does it best in whatever accent or voice wins. And so we could do a live game of Utter Nonsense on sheer and utter. Oh, this has got to happen now.
I just talked to Duncan recently. He told us that he was a good friend of the podcast. So Duncan, if you're listening to this, know that in the future you'll definitely have an invite to
Duncan,
hop on here with us.
Duncan, I'm calling you out. You're gonna lose so badly, so harshly. You're gonna lose the game here on Sheer and Utter Nonsense. Ask anyone; they'll tell you.
I'll say one of my favorites that Duncan did. He was a big King of the Hill guy, and he could do a lot of good King of the Hill ones. So
I pretty
yeah,
much can only do Hank.
yeah, we'll be in touch, Duncan. So friends, be ready for that one because I promise you, I've known Hunter a long time, and I have yet to hear an impersonation where I have not laughed. And let me tell you, hours of impersonations altogether I've heard, laughing the entire time. So it's gonna be a good man. We got so much stuff on the docket that we're gonna be getting to. It makes me excited, that we got this thing going now. We can plan all these fun things like that.
Heck yeah.
All right, Hunter, you have anything else that we need to do?
That's it for me.
All right, man. Well, it's been good talking to you.
It's been good talking to you too.
Yeah, man. It's rough getting in here to record. Seems like it's been a busy week for me this week, but
that's okay.
But we get through, man. That's what we do. We get stuff done.
We make her happen, Captain.
Make her happen, Captain. I like that one. I'm getting that tattooed.
There you go. Put it on your left butt cheek.
Well, okay, it's done. I'll do that right after I pee on your leg. All right, okay. Everybody. Thank you for listening. As you know, well, I hope you know, we are now on Spotify. So make sure that you go and listen to us on there. If you're driving or something like that, and you want to be able just to turn your phone off, we're hot on the Spotify. You can also go to our YouTube page. We put a video out that has kind of a sound wave on it that bounces up with us if you want some kind of little visual, something like that. Go follow the Twitter at the Sun Pod, and in the future we'll get an Instagram made and we'll put some little snippets and stuff on there. But as we say it every time, know you hate it on YouTube. If you can, go ahead and like it, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell because that helps us. And man, now on Spotify, just follow us, listen to us. We're trying to get those rankings up on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're live on everything, man. Who would have thought we'd be here right now? I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. I'm glad we're getting suggestions. I did notice though, since we went on Spotify, our views aren't quite what they were starting out on there yet. But once again, we just got on there. But I looked at the last video on YouTube and it had like 2 views. So I think most people are moving to the Spotify now. But that's all right. We just want you to hear our content, and we just want it to make you laugh. That's what we're here for.
Heck yeah, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
hopefully we'll be on Apple Podcasts sometime soon. I'm in the process of figuring out why that's taken so long. We're supposed to be published on there, but anyway.
Well,
we'll
it's because it's
when
Apple.
that comes. Yeah. Well. So.
All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, man, we'll do it again real soon.
That's it. Thank you. I've had a good time.
It's been good to be here, Bob.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.